Welcome everyone to Autogefühl, your #1 resource for in-depth car reviews. Today with another world premiere, a place packed full of people, but we have the exclusive chance now to see the all-new Mercedes GLC. It's the new compact SUV from Mercedes. It's the successor of the Mercedes GLK that has been running since 2008 and has been sold over 650,000 times, so the most important SUV for Mercedes. And well, there has been a drastic design change, as you already see here right now, because they not want to do this angular style anymore. They now want to have a modern luxury concept, so they call it. They say this car now fits more to our general lineup in the models. And well, yes, it does. But I liked the GLK because of its angular shape. Hardly any SUV had that one. But now already the new one also looks quite fancy, I must admit. So we start here with the front. You see, this is kind of alike with the all-new GLA we've presented earlier and last year. You see, this is now a basic Mercedes modern head in the front here. And by the way, we see the hood, unlike with the GLA has a cut-off hood here. So, but this hood goes all the way until the front. You know, we've talked about it earlier, some cars now have this split line here, which looks kind of weird, but that's for the insurance, that the insurance is cheaper, that not the whole hood has to be replaced in a crash. But here, they continued it all the way to the front, and I think this is also beautiful. We see here, the sensors are hidden behind that one here, also the front view camera, because optionally, this car will also have a 360 surround camera view and also a fake drone view from above. So this is the front here. I also want to hear already your comments, what you think about the front. By the way, this is here the 350e 4MATIC. So first of all, there will all be the all-wheel drive models. Later on, there also will be a front-wheel drive model launch, which will be cheaper then. But this car here now is top of the line at the moment. It replaces the old 350, which was just a petrol engine. This one here, petrol engine, 211 horsepower, plus an electric drive of 116 horsepower then from the electric drive, and so you have them both combined. You can either have a great boost or you can have a rather low consumption. I think not so many people will buy that one. The other versions will be, I think, more sold, but let's talk about that one later. Let's take a look around here from the side profile, because that's also very exciting. There has been even more changes. If we take a complete look here then, you see the car is longer, 12 centimeters longer than the predecessor, and 11.8 centimeters are the wheel space. You see, the wheel space is really long, so all everything that has got longer is all about the wheel space, and so we'll also have more space on the inside, of course. And because the old GLK, it lacked a little bit of knee space, for example, in the back side. So let's continue to the rear. We see we get a floating line here now, not this angular shape here. This is also a very big difference here in this case. And especially one designer is very interesting. You see it right here. And that one, especially on the photos, it looks quite weird that we have this steep going line here. But actually now, as I see it live, it doesn't look that weird as on the photos. You see, it has lost its angular style here also at the rear, and I'm not so quite sure about that. I really like the front, also the side line looks really like it's designed in one piece, but here at the rear, you see, it kind of has a little bit of an egg shape, I would say. Or what do you think about it? Actually, you see here it's also the 350e badge. What other engines can we expect? It will start with the 250 petrol engine with actually 211 horsepower, and that one is also included here, but plus the electric drive. And then there will be a 220D and a 250D, so two diesels actually. One diesel will have 170 horsepower and the other one 204 horsepower. We already know that. But the car, the chassis, got 50 kilograms lighter, and so they also save consumption. And all the cars will be combined with a new 9-speed automatic transmission. And this one is also reducing the consumption. On paper, they say 19% less in consumption. So you see the whole length of the car, 4 meters 65 now. That's already quite huge now in the compact SUV segment, but before that it was actually quite little. So electric opening for the rear hatch. So we take a look at here and we see The trunk in general has gotten bigger, but here with the plug-in hybrid version, of course, we lose a little bit of spacing because the battery has to be stored somewhere. But we already see that the trunk has become longer, and that's really a big difference if you compare it to the GLK. We also have electric switch buttons here. I'm not pressing them now because I would probably kill someone here in the rear department. But you see here these buttons here. This is actually for lowering the car, because this one is also equipped with a new air suspension, so you can easier loading, you can lower the car there, and it's easier to put something inside. That's, by the way, one technology highlight we'll talk later on about. We also have an interview with an expert later on about, and then we also talk about that one with the air suspension. So let's now see if we can get more of the inside from the car. Let's move on. We see here again, if you see the side lines also, already on the exterior, this sensual purity concept shall be conveyed, so they want to have rather floating lines, and it all fits to the other cars they have. You see it also here. This is the dropping line, which divides the design in light and shadow here, and we see another floating line that is flowing all over the car. So if we take a look at the front here now, because the interior is still busy, this one here is the engine, the hybrid engine. You see the petrol engine plus the electric drive. The battery was placed on the inside of the car. We cannot really see it, but that's how actually also the petrol engine looks like. And I think it's a very promising combination, because the huge petrol engine won't be much desired in the future, I think, especially not in Europe. About the markets, by the way, very important market for the car will also be China. So China, Germany and the US will be the most important markets, but there now will also be, in comparison to the GLK, a right-hand drive version available. So all of our fans in the UK, Japan or Australia, you will also now have the car suitable for your market here with the all-new GLC. And that will, I think, boost the sales of this car even more. So I think it's arguably if you can actually find this new design good or bad. So I want to hear your opinion. I really like the front, not so much in the rear. But let's look at the interior, because that also has been changed a lot. Let's first look at the seats here. This one here is the special Designo equipment. This is actually the only equipment that really uses still leather. You see, it's a contrast. Designo is this special equipment, cost a lot, many thousand euros, let's say that. But the rest of the equipment is also very interesting. You see the new middle console here. Again, this sensual purity concept, where a lot of gaps are always hidden by design lines. That's very well done, I think. And you see this wide middle console here. They use open cell wood that you can actually also touch it very well. So it's not that your fingerprints are put on there because it's a shiny surface. No, it's open cell wood, and I think that's a very good decision. And you can also pick different styles, of course. Also a bright wood, for example, is available here. Then let's look at the steering wheel. We already know that from, for example, from the Mercedes C-Class, because this basis of the car is actually combined with the Mercedes C-Class. A lot of parts from the C-Class is used. This is the central control terminal here. Often it's criticized that this one is kind of covering this lower part. I'm also not so sure about that, but it looks at least very fancy here. So this new interior is, of course, very much different from the GLK so far, and I think it's really setting the standard here in the compact SUV class interior, because we haven't seen it from the other competitors here. So it really looks high class here. Of course, it's the top equipment, but also the other equipment are very interesting, because talking about the leather as well here, we see this one is also covered in leather. But it's not, I think hardly anyone will buy this top equipment here with this version, because what else is available? For example, AMG line or an exclusive line. And the AMG line will use artificial leather on the outside and Alcantara on the inside. And the exclusive line will use the Volks leather on the outside and fabric on the inside, where you actually sit. I think it's a very reasonable combination, because, you know, no animals are harmed within there. And it's also good for the climate features, actually, because you don't stick to the seats then. And actually also in the winter it's not cold when you have Alcantara or the fabric on the inside of the seats. And there it's also just, well, they just told that we're using exactly these materials. I think it's a very good solution of Mercedes, that they can really combine sustainability with luxury, which is not obviously the case with real leather. So come again here around with me, because you see also the dashboard here. This is usually also in focus. I think also in this equipment, at least in the exclusive line, it is for sure. Not really sure about the Designo line here, but usually all the dashboards are in focus leather. For example, also in the Mercedes S-Class Coupe. You've also seen the inside of the door stand, which is also a very beautiful combination here, especially how you can turn the seat. And actually, what else do we feel here in the interior? So we have this longer wheelbase, and that means more knee space for the rear passengers. We'll also soon take a look at that one actually. But what has changed here in the front? You have 5.7 more centimeters space for your shoulders actually. And well, you don't really feel it immediately because the middle console is quite huge, and it wasn't that the case in the GLK. So just from the visual perspective, you don't really feel that you have more space, but actually on paper you do have more space. That's quite a funny concept. You see actually there are two screens available here in two different sizes. This one is the bigger one here, and the other one is, this is also combined with the new top command system. We'll talk about later of the off-road features, because we also have an off-road package available here with this car. And yes, we can go a little bit more in front, that's no problem. And then let's take a look at the instruments here. The instruments are rather classical. You see it's an analog instruments. If you come closer here, right hand the RPM meter and the left side the tachometer. And this is really a rather classical side, and all the other information will be displayed digitally here in the central part here. Especially what is also important, being all the novice, for example, also from we've seen shown in the V-Class, is these levers here. And for example, in the S-Class Coupe, it really feels high class and also looks very great. So we have everything cleaned up here, and then we can control all the extra equipment here in the central screen. Also, especially at this, I want to show you, because here we have got this matte aluminum style, and then we also got very few design lines. You see, everything is really clearly designed. So I also want to hear from you, what do you think about this new interior? I really love this new interior, I must say. Although visibility, I think, well, it's a little bit reduced, because from the design line, the front screen has become a little bit slimmer. So you don't really feel being in this very off-road stylish SUV anymore, already from the inside. But the off-road capabilities are actually still possible, because you can pick this optional air suspension with this one here. Of course, it's again optional, but then you can lower the car 2 centimeters to have a more sporty ride. And you can also top up the car for a more off-road style ride, about 5 centimeters. And in combination with the off-road package, where you then get this special off-road driving modes, you really have still an off-road capable car, which is even better in the off-road performance than the GLK model. But we'll talk about that later in an interview with a Mercedes expert. So if you want to dig deeper into that, you'll hear more about that one also later. Let's look at the alloys here, by the way. You see, these ones here are the maximum possible 20-inch, says here R20, so the 20-inch alloys. From the standard equipment, they are of course slimmer, but then the interesting packages for the AMG line, for example, and also the exclusive line. In the AMG line, you've got 19-inch, which is still an okay choice, because well, you already lose a little bit of comfort with 19-inch actually, but 20-inch I wouldn't really not go for it. 19-inch is still okay, I think. And the exclusive line has 18-inch, and that I think is the best choice then, because then you don't lose comfort but still already have a quite good look. By the way, you see that the dropping line is fading out right here. That's also an interesting design element. See, because usually some dropping lines are actually continued over to the back, but that makes the back of the car actually also cleaner from a design perspective. And I think this line really is the most drastic change here in the new GLC if you compare it to the GLK model then. Then what also will be interesting will be the rear compartment. We have to wait some more minutes to get in there, because you know, with this world premieres it's always very crowded, but we try to take the best out for you, of course, from this perspective. So what do you think so far of this car? I think it's a really interesting concept, and I'm not so sure what about the visibility, because I really like it with the GLK. It had a rather steep front windscreen, could really look very well to the outside. I love that about the GLK, and it was very handy. But this one here is supposed to be a little bit more sporty. So my colleague Jens here, hey, how are you doing? You also find his channel, by the way, Voice Over Cars. I'll also link that one. And let's get into the rear department. I'm not quite sure how actually the front seat is actually put right now, but you see there's someone sitting in front of me. So I think it's quite neutral position here. You also see it to the to the B pillar here. And then you see you have really a lot more knee space than in the GLK. I think that's very important. Although I must say that the rear seating here is actually not too long, so I cannot recommend it really for tall people from just seating wise. Let's look at the headspace. We got the panoramic roof here inside, and I still got this kind of headspace. I think that's quite good still. The car has become, let's say, about 1 centimeter higher, and that's actually not too much, but you got a little bit more hot space in, and I think you can actually go for the panoramic roof, because in some cars you have to leave out the panoramic roof still to get the proper headroom. But here I think it's quite feasible still. So, and then the general seating comfort, I think, well, it could be a little bit longer here for the seating area. So it's actually not the best car still for adults to travel, just from the seating wise. But you have the lengthened knee space here now, you really feel it. 6 centimeters is actually the difference you get from the longer wheelbase in here. And I think the headspace is also quite fine. But again, what you see here from the inside, it doesn't look so huge. So on paper, it has become bigger, but it doesn't look that huge. I think it's because the window lines have been reduced in comparison to the GLK. So that's, I think, is the basic difference. So I get out that you can also take another look at it, at the seats in detail again. Again, as I said, this is the Designo equipment. See the contrast leather here again, but I think hardly anyone will go for this top version because it's really very, very expensive. So as it stands here right now with the Designo interior and also with the hybrid drive, it's the most expensive solution here for that. Well, actually, what do they think? How many people will buy this? Just, I think, some percent, but the AMG line, by the way, they have some cars so far that, for example, are sold in the AMG line, especially in the US, like 30 or even 40% AMG line. So Mercedes expect that this car will also be sold in the AMG line quite often, actually. And I also think that will be the case because the AMG line also looks quite fancy. Then there's also an off-road line available, by the way. I'm not sure if we can see it at the other car quite soon, but this off-road line also has some footsteps here on the left and right part then to make this even more off-road style look here. Yeah, that's, I think, is the basic overview. And then let's see if we can get another car with another engine maybe, or also in another color. And here we can see how the car actually looks dirty because, again, as I said, with the off-road package, it is more off-road capable than the car before. And you see, actually, this one is kind of artificially done here now for the show. I think the GLC won't probably get that dirty quite often, but I think if you want an off-road capable car, you can get at least it optionally. If you not pick the off-road package and not the air suspension, it's probably more this kind of city SUV, especially with this new design, but at least it's possible optionally than here. And you see this one here needs some more ground clearance. Let's look inside for another color. It's okay. Let's look inside here for another color. If you go inside here, go around me maybe, you see there's some signs on here. So this one is another equipment here. You see it's also full leather seats in the brown equipment. This is also an optional side. And then you can see also another wood color here. Also a dark wood, but this one is a rather shiny one. I would go for the open cell wood actually, but what would you go for? So there you see another interior color. And then we can also see how the rear compartment looks like here. Also in this color that you get an impression here, just from some other trim levels or also interior styling. This one, by the way, this very engine, we see it here, right? By the way, the sound, how the door closes, is quite good actually. Oh, are those real scratches? No, they just painted on. So, by the way, we see here at the back part, it says a 250D. Yeah, 250D, let's clean it a little bit, 250D. I think this one will be sold quite often because it's a stronger diesel. Now they all start with the all-wheel drive. As I said, later on there will be some new entry versions. And so far as what I've heard of the price, for example in Germany, you will end up with about 45,000 euros. That's of course not cheap, but if you take the comparing engines from the GLK before, it has not really become more expensive. I think one of the dealers is even 500 euros cheaper than, and as I said later on, also some entry versions here. Again, this 250D model here was with 200 104 horsepower, and there was this 220 also available. It was 170 horsepower. We can also take another look at another 220D car, and that's standing right here, and this one is all the way cleaned up because it's in white actually. You see also some Dieter Zetsche interview here, the CEO of Daimler right now. But I mean, what about your opinion on that, on the official interviews? Because most of the stuff are already in the press releases, I must say, so I want to give you rather some live shots here at the car. So this one here, the plain white color, you see, this one also has the two horizontal fins, which are kind of classical here. The AMG line will also still have these two ones, not like in the GLA, where the AMG line also has one horizontal fin. And here we can especially see the contrasting black styling kit to the white one, which is kind of very beautiful, I think. As far as I know, I don't have confirmation, but as far as I know, it's the AMG line here because it has additional fake air intakes at the lower part here. You see that they are not really actually for the air intake, they are just plastic stuff here, but they look quite fancy from the distance here. And that's actually the difference with the AMG line, that you have a stronger lower bumper here and also this shiny black grille. And as I said, the AMG line will probably sold quite often. Here again you have a contrast also with the black to the white, black mirror caps. In this case we also have a black interior. We can also take a look at that one. So for example here you see when there's no hybrid drive inside, we also have a little more space even, and that's how I can actually flip the seats. And I can put the button here now. You see, that's how the button works. The button here, actually quite a nice solution, and then you get an even loading space here, and I think I'm quite satisfied with the trunk here now. It could be a little bit steeper in that kind of way, I think. Let's check what's behind here. You see there is no hybrid drive in here then you have even more space below here. That's, I think, more practical now, and it even more differentiates the GLC now to the GLA, to the smaller model then, where the length actually has increased. So let's check out if we can see something of the interior. Again, a lot of people here. Yeah, that's actually some way. You see there's another interior color here as well. Let's maybe check the front. You can see here. Here, this is what I meant actually before with the AMG line. So that's confirmation that we got the AMG line because we got the leather red, so you can also call it, on the outside, and then the Alcantara on the inside. I think that's the perfect solution actually, because you have just for the visual side, for example, the dashboard and the outside of the seats in this fake leather, which doesn't harm animals, and then you got a good climate function here on the inside. Not too warm in summer, not too cold in winter. I think the perfect solution, also very sporty because you don't shake around that much on, actually, if you're sitting on the Alcantara. I can test it for you as well. And I think it actually feels more cozy and more sporty at the same time. So it's actually a very good feeling on the seats. You also still have this rather upright seating position, yes. And I think, well, just from the first seating, I can also imagine very well to go there for a long ride. Someone has put power on the light, I think, definitely, therefore it's beeping. So, and let's see what we have here. Now it's the shiny black surface in here. You see, this is really prone to fingerprints a lot of the time, so I would rather go maybe for the open cell wood, but some find it not sporty enough. So you really have to clean it all the time if you pick this kind of interior. By the way, here again, for the beverages, all the space there, well, not too much space for your smartphone. 12-volt loader. Here we also see the screen as it is on now. You see not everything of the screen is covered. It's kind of placed inside here. And maybe, well, it looks a little bit attached, don't you think so as well? And so we can see, well, it looks rather in this classic design, so Mercedes customer know what they get. It's not really that new also, but the display, but it works quite fine. I know it already, and it did actually quite a nice job. By the way, you see the panoramic roof is split in two. We got it here in the front, and then we got another part in the back. So there's actually a split in the middle part then. And let's see if we can also open it, but I think maybe not the power. No, power is not actually in, so but it actually can be opened. It would be the opening process right here. By the way, this is here a holder for your glasses. and just from the headspace here in the front. You see we have the panoramic roof built in here, and I still got some headspace here. So I think it's also 1.86 in meters, so I think it's also quite feasible. I really like this AMG line, however I thought I wouldn't maybe go for the shiny black part here, but everything really looks quite fancy. I think they have done a really great job with the interior. By the way, here the Burmester sound system, top sound system, which is available here, also in a great styling here where you can also change the seats. Also one nice part, and again Fox leather here on the outside. It also feels actually quite good, so you don't really need the real leather. So which car do you like best? The dirty one, the white one, or the hybrid car as I've shown you? So we got some different exterior colors, interior colors. Also want to know your opinion on that. So we're here now with Hubert Schneider. He's a leader of the testing team of the GLC. So he has accompanied the whole process of the development. So what can you tell us about the new GLC, and especially how much different is it on the technological side to the predecessor?
Yes. We have a more progressive style of the car, more emotional style of the car, and we have innovations. One of the important innovations of the GLC, of the new GLC, is the air suspension with multi-chambers. We have 2 chambers in the front, 3 chambers in the rear for better comfort, for better handling. I can explain you.
So this is a showcase of the
air suspension with multi-chambers, air spring shift valves. We have 3 chambers, 1 chamber here, the 2nd chamber here, and the 3rd chamber here. We have a switchable suspension additional to the damping switching. Therefore, we have with this system, we have a good balanced car on-road and off-road.
So it was possible to put the car higher and lower?
Yes, we can put the car 50 millimeters to get a better air clearance, ground clearance, and we can go down for sporty driving for higher velocities.
So if we compare this system here to a higher model, for example to the GLE now, is it a comparable system or is it something different?
It is a comparable system. We have the ADS, the damping system, is the same system like in the new GLE, but we have additional chambers. This is new. This is new. We start this new technology with the GLC.
Okay, so this might be adapted to other models later on then?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So if you maybe also know the Porsche Macan, as it was the first car to introduce the air suspension in the compact SUV segment. Was it kind of your reaction that you also put it there now, or was it your plan from the beginning on? And how do you think, how will it compare to the competitor models?
Yes, I think the focus on this car and the setup was the comfort. Comfort, to have maximum comfort on road, on rough roads, and also in off-road situations.
So you think it's rather set on comfort, so you don't want to really match the Porsche with the air suspension?
No, Porsche is fixed on a much sporty performance. We have the maximum on comfort to have a very good level like competitors in the sport mode, and additional a good balance in off-road situations.
So let's say you maybe do not want to spend so much money on the optional air suspension. So what do we have as a standard suspension, and how will this one perform? Just when you go with a standard suspension?
We have a standard the adaptive damping system. It's really mechanical, and as option you have this ADS system with 3-chamber suspension.
So what do you think, where will the customers go for? Do you think most customers will indeed pick the air suspension, or is it maybe just a top luxury thing?
I think it's a top luxury option, and most of the customers will take the very, very good and comfortable standard system.
Okay, and so is this one also newly developed or new adapted, or is it a common system, standard equipment?
It's a standard. The standard is a common equipment based on the C-Class.
Ah, okay, interesting. And in general, is the new GLC really kind of similar to the C-Class in other parts as well, or how is kind of the basis of the car? What's the secret there?
some body parts are from the C-Class, but a lot of parts are especially for the GLC and other generations of this platform.
Okay, and there will be also the coupe coming up. Will this one be technically rather identical, or will there be some special changes?
The platform is based on the GLC.
Okay, so it's rather be a design thing, and of course higher trim level, starting entry, and
with some technical points of this car.
So besides of the suspension, there are also some other new features with the GLC. What's, I think, your favorite feature besides the air suspension you got newly included in the GLC?
I think very important is more space in comparison to the GLK. We have more space. The car is 120 millimeters longer overall, and we have more space, more leg space in the rear, more space in the front, more width of the car. So we have more space, more comfort, more technology in the car. Also, the assistance systems, we have all the assistance systems like in the C-Class. So we have all the innovations of the C-Class in this car.
We also do have already from serial equipment this emergency brake. We have it included, do we, right?
All the systems from the C-Class adapted to this car.
Yeah, but for the pedestrian reconnection, you have to pick it option. So it's kind of split. You have some serial equipment, and then
the big
other one.
Safety package is as option. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So the versions that are introduced right now are all with the all-wheel drive, and I guess we can expect an entry version later on this year. I guess. Will this one also have less safety features then, or will this rather remain the same?
The same options, the same standard features.
Yeah. Okay. So to the first question back again, when we look at the GLK, so how much different is the GLK from the GLC? Also, if you compare some other model change, is it really a very big step, very crucial step, or is it rather a small difference? What would you say?
It's a very, very big step. We have the new 9 G-tronic in the car with less fuel consumption, 19% in average, less fuel consumption. It's a big step. Then we have the space, we have the emotion of the body, we have the interior, more emotion, interior, exterior, and the innovations. These are the big steps forward in comparison to the GLK.
Some customers of the so far GLK, they said, okay, I wanted to pick this car because it looked rather classical, this G-Class style. So what do you think about that? How will you still have this customers satisfied that actually like the GLK?
It's a step in direction of emotion, yes, it's another class of body. Yeah, you have the sharp line. Yes, we haven't the sharp line in the GLC. It's a new line. It's a rounded line with more emotion. That was the intention of this car, of the design.
Okay, so you think you can still make the old GLK customers satisfied with it as well?
Some, yes, not most, I think.
Okay. So, thank you very much here for the information, and I think we'll go on with our tour now.
We have 5 off-road programs, especially real-time with real-time animation. We have here 5 programs. One is a slippery program with driving on slippery surface. We have the off-road program. You see here we have changing different systems. The control system is different. Air body control reacts different. We have the damping system, electric steering, the G-tronic, and the engine. We have different reactions on these programs. We have here a program, rocking assist. With this rocking assist, we have 50 millimeters more ground clearance. Rocking assist is when you're driving fixed, you cannot go forward. This program, rocking assist, helps you to get forward.
Okay, so how does it? Is it like the car moves up and forth again?
Yes.
Or how?
No. You have the ESP, and the engine reacts like 4 back. It's a reaction, but you have to influence this with a gas pedal. But it helps you to get forward and back.
So the car moves forward and back again faster as you could do it on your own.
You can do it. You can rocking out. out of the situation. We have the next program is the incline. When you're climbing a hill, you have also fixed gears. The program automatically manual gear selection via steering wheel pedals, and you have the downhill speed regulator, who helps you driving down like a tempomat, like a.
Yeah, it's a hill descent control, like a cruise control.
Yes.
Descending of the hill, yes.
And the last program is a trailer program. This is new. When you're driving on slippery ground with a trailer, the system helps you to get more forward. You have more force on the rear axle, and you have the systems more variable in the situation with the trailer.
So all the technology we see here, is it just included in the optional off-road package, or is it already connected to the air suspension?
No, this is option in the off-road package with air suspension and standard suspension also. With standard suspension, you have 20 millimeters more ground clearance in this off-road package. The air suspension has maximum 50 millimeters.
Okay, so if I pick the
standard 20 millimeters, the air suspension 50 millimeters.
Okay, so I can pick the off-road package both with standard and the air suspension?
With more ground clearance.
Okay, and the standard suspension already has more ground clearance, but the air suspension not?
Much more.
Okay, but just that's then just
selectable.
As you like. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, well, very interesting.
Yeah.
So what do you think? How many people will go for the off-road package? Because I think it's quite crucial for this task, because we had a recent feedback from you that a lot of SUVs actually went down in off-road capability. So a lot of SUVs think, okay, we just have street customers anymore, and so they lack on off-road features, and a lot of people were moaning there. Actually.
A lot of SUV freaks, friends, get this option, really.
I think especially for the US, for example, because wide spaces and more off-road passengers. I think a lot of US customers.
Worldwide, also in China, we have this set it up.
Great, very interesting.
Yeah, and real-time animation. It's very wonderful real-time animation of the car. You see the angle of the wheels. You see the.
So this will be displayed in the screen then.
Displayed in the screen also. This is not here startable, but it's also in the display, real-time animated.
Oh, okay. So it's kind of the car is mirrored from this side perspective inside the screen.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's, I think, also some surround camera systems that you can also have the assistance while driving off-road.
Yes, we have a 360 camera system, one in the front, one in the rear, and two in the mirrors. Yeah, this gives you a picture around the car.
And this fake drone perspective again is.
Yes. And this is perfect to use in off-road situations. Very good. Also, we have an off-road light. When you drive in off-road with the off-road program, you have a wide angle of the lights when you're driving off-road with lights.
So would you actually say that the new GLC is more off-road capable than the GLK then?
Yes, really. Yeah, based on the new air suspension.
Okay, well that's very interesting actually, because as I said, most of the new SUVs step down in off-road capability because the manufacturers say, okay, we can't really use it. But here at least you can pick the off-road package then, and with the air suspension then you're really actually also fit for the off-road ride. So that was our preview here from the world premiere from the all-new Mercedes GLC. I hope I can get you some information. It would be very great if you also join us for the next review. And also, we will very much look forward how this car is going to be when we drive it.